So we're back with the 6 liter. It's been a minute, but now we're gonna put some cooling upgrades on this thing. I went and bought a IPR radiator. It's their heavy duty 3-inch one versus the Mishimoto one is a couple $100 cheaper. I have yet to install it, but it's gonna be replacing the stock one that I got. This one that I'm putting in, it's 3 inches thick, and so yeah, we'll see right now. When I take it off, we'll do a comparison side by side. And then also I'm putting the CSF intercooler, the aluminum one from Extreme Diesel. Came out to like $300, 300 and change. Ordered it 3 days later, showed up at my house, free shipping, so got here pretty quick. And the radiator came out to like $500. I went to go pick it up, didn't pay for shipping. It's here locally in Southern California, so I went to go pick it up. So save some money with that, and we'll right now I'll unbox it. So here we got the intercooler ready to go. It's not gonna be like a big old fancy thing. I don't know what to expect much of it, but this radiator is pretty real deal. I have it on its side right now because for their drain plug, how they have it compared to the stock one, it's on the bottom, so I don't want to break it. And it's just a plastic little valve or a little plug. So it's pretty solid. I haven't seen the Mishimoto one in person to compare it, like size, quality, and all this other stuff. But for the price, this is for me. This is a whole lot better route to go to than to spend the money on a Mishimoto. Mishimoto is a whole lot more expensive, a couple $100 more. So, and they got like a 3-year warranty on their on this radiator. So I don't see why not to go for it. So we'll see right now. We'll pull it out and throw it in the truck. So to get started with this, I saw one other video, somebody else taking this thing apart to install the intercooler. I gotta take this support off, start taking it off with the air dam. But since I'm changing both things, intercooler and radiator, I'll just probably take everything apart. I'm not sure if this is gonna fit. Most likely, from what I remember reading on the description online from the IPR, that has to come off. So I'm gonna have to take that all off, and then once I reinstall it, then I'll see if the shroud will fit correctly, or if I have to trim it down or do something with it. But we'll see right now. So you gotta take off the air filter because you're gonna have to get to the intercooler pipe right here. Let's take off this part right here. They just popped off the little clips, those little plastic pins. These are 8mm, I believe, but 5/16 works. These just pop off. Take off these screws holding the shroud. My shroud was cut already with some screws for like quick access to the fan clutch. And then I already took this one off, this little hose. And then I'm gonna start taking the top ones off right now. And let's just start removing everything at once. So you're gonna have to disconnect the trans lines that go to the bottom of the cooler, the lower radiator hose, or the bottom of the radiator, yeah, bottom part of the cooler. And then it should pop out right now, straight up. So it's already loose. We'll see right now. Throw it straight up. I'll see right now if I have to actually even take this upper support off for taking the intercooler out, since I'm taking the radiator out. But we'll see right now. Side by side comparison. The stock cooler. This is the front, facing the front, like towards the front of the front grill, back of the motor. Oh man, it's really cool. But you can see the thickness from it compared to the stock one. It's got this cavity that goes into it. It's not really that thick on the side, as you can visually see it. This one, the 3-inch one, is the full 3-inch capacity of the aluminum fins and all that for the cooling. So for the trans lines, to see if the factory one's gonna fit up, because they gave me this bag. Well, that's one thing with this. This thing comes with no instructions at all. Neither does that. But if you're messing with this, I figure you should probably have some common sense or have somebody knowledgeable help you out. But I guess I'll figure this part out. Maybe I'll have to get rid of the old trans lines, or I don't know, connect it. I'll see what it does right now before I finish putting it all back together. But it comes with that bag too, with the fittings. By the looks of it, right now I'm starting on this. For the intercooler, it's got these two. They're 11mm supports on attached to this brace right here, one on each side. And also it's got like a little bracket that holds your cable that connects the batteries. And then this is an 11mm also, I believe. I go to the sand dunes to go camping, so that's why there's sand everywhere from when it gets windy. So I just clean this off real quick with the rag, and then make sure I don't get any sand inside there. Take off the boots. By the looks of it, the intercooler should be able to pop out vertical, and then tilt it out and take it out to this empty space. I took the rest of the fan shroud out. I don't think it's gonna fit with that stock or with the new radiator, but if it does, I'm not gonna put it back on. Just that's why it has more space in here. It might affect it, but we'll see. So we're gonna try to pull the intercooler out without taking this off, with the radiator already removed. So for the intercooler, it had these studs. That 11mm was only holding the equivalent of this for the battery cable, and other than that, this is 10mm. Comes out. Take the cap boots off, and now it's completely loose. I'm by myself. I'm not gonna record me trying to pull this thing out, but we'll see if it comes out at an angle. You can probably take the cap boots off completely. Probably make it easier, but they're staying right there for me. So to get it out, I pulled one side, grabbing from each side where the hot and cold. Grabbed it, lifted it up, probably within, like, lift it up an inch, pull it over an inch. Same thing on the other side. If you need help, probably one guy on each side will probably make your life easier. If not, I was standing on top of the bumper and kneeling on top of the grill, hunched over and pulled it out. If you don't have back problems or any kind of problems, you can probably do it that way. So this is out. You're gonna have to reuse these grommets. Not sure if these go on the other one. We'll check it out right now. But here is the stock one, the plastic ends, compared to the aluminum CST, I think it was, or whatever brand it was, the Extreme Diesel one. These grommets just slide straight off of the stock one. They come straight off and just slide into here. This one I just noticed right now, I guess it got bent shipping or whatever it was, or from the factory. Whatever. That's not the end of the world. It's not gonna affect it. And then these are attached in this slot right here, where it'll sit on the supports inside the pocket, inside the radiator. So same thing, just pull those out and just slide right in. So just make sure they go in all the way, I guess. There's not in all the way, but you get the idea. I'm gonna throw this back inside. Setting the buttons by yourself. Taking these cap boots off will make your life a whole lot easier. Kneeled up here, so you'll feel once it lands in the little ears, like little prongs where it's supposed to sit on. And then you can tell also by judging by these pins where the dowels go, where the pins, studs will go. And then slide the cap boots back over, tighten these on. Once you put them back on, and then this should be set for the intercooler. Throw the boots back on, make sure they're clean. I'm gonna clean the inside of them, make sure there's no debris, no sand, or none of that stuff fell inside there during this time. Now that I have made it this far, there's really no need to take this part off. If you're doing the radiator as well, you take your whole fan shroud out over there, the top and the bottom of it, and you can get the intercooler in and out without taking this support off. Taking this off will just help you for visual if you really need to, but for me, I really haven't done much with it. So for the trans lines, the packet that comes with it, with the hose, with this hose and the fittings, you're gonna take this line based on what I figured out. If you do something different, that's up to you, but you gotta take this clamp off right here that goes to the bottom of the cooler, the trans cooler, and where it redirects over here back into the radiator. So you take that off and put this hose in its place, and then you're gonna put one of those other fittings on it, the push to connect fittings that has a for flared like this. You're gonna slide this on in here, and then this 90, this elbow, however you want to refer to it, is gonna screw onto the bottom ports of the radiator, and then this flared side is gonna connect to that one on each side. So that's for the driver's side. For the passenger side, that one I was looking at, it's gonna attach to the right where the inline filter's at least for my 03. I'm not sure how it is for the the newer ones, the second gen 6 liters. So this line connections right there to the inline filter. So I'm gonna take that clamp off, like that pressure clamp, and put like a radiator clamp on it, a hose clamp. So I'm gonna illuminate that line and just make sure that whichever one you disconnect, it connects the same way into the cooler, into the radiator. So that's why I'm this one, passenger side, driver's side, and accordingly, and just put it back together the same way. So I'm gonna take that off right now, especially this one right here, the one on the driver's side. Now that I have all this open space right back here to be able to tighten the hose clamp without struggling later on. So that one will be done right now. This one can probably be held off till later once we put everything else back together. This probably will be the final things. Well, the grommets that go on the bottom for where it mounts, like for the pins, I threw them on the bottom supports already, so that's why they're already there. One's right here, and the other one is right there. So I threw them on there already, so that's why because they fit pretty loosely on the aluminum radiator. So instead of them falling and I mess with them, I just put them on here. That's why it already falls into place. One thing I am gonna do is take the drain plug off, because it's just a plastic drain plug, and I don't want to break it when I'm trying to slide it in there. So it's pretty simple, just got an O-ring on it. It'd been cool if this would have been like a brass plug or something, but I guess this is simple and effective. That's all it does its job. So I'm gonna take those off once I put it in all the way. So this is from the bottom. I had to slide down here real quick. Once I had placed it, it didn't land directly in the openings where it needed to do, so I just slid it down here. This was getting stuck on the part of the shroud, and I just push it down and it pops and it releases. I am not sure what these are for, if it's for something else, but they're just there. Drain is gonna go bottom right there, and that's mainly it. I'm not sure how much more coolant this is gonna take. It doesn't say online or no paper in the box, so I bought 5 more gallons of the pre-diluted gold. So we'll see right now once we hook everything back up. And you will need some trans fluid probably. What I would recommend, in my opinion, check it, run it, whatever, top it off, because you do lose some trans fluid, as you can see, the mess on the floor. What are the coolers gonna spill out? So trans fluid, coolant, you're gonna need, and a couple extra hose clamps. I got 2 right there. I think I broke 2, yeah. 2 of them so far. Hopefully that's all that will be broken. So do that for the top up here. This is how it's looking so far. Thing is massive. The clamps, or not the clamps, the bracket, the mounting brackets. Something like this. And that's how it's gonna go. Online it says something about elongating some mounting holes. I'm not sure which ones they're talking about. So far everything for me has fitted up okay. I'm not sure if it's made for these brackets to bring it closer to not hit the fan shroud, but from this angle it's being held on by just like the head of the screw, so it's a rough estimate right there. But the fan shroud it clears pretty good right there. It's not rubbing, or at least this part of the shroud. The top part where it says like the V8 Powerstroke on it, I'm not gonna put that back on. I don't want to mess with cutting it and trying to fit it up. I don't care too much about it. But clearance wise, everything clears pretty good. If you can see that. But we'll continue seeing right now. They have the mounting spots to stick that top part of the shroud. This one right here. That says the V8 Powerstroke. So maybe this part I will just like cut down a little bit, just to throw this back on there. But it's already falling apart, so it's not the end of the world if I put it or don't put it on for me. Right now, this bracket, the stock top mount for the radiator, it's the stock curvature. I guess yeah, and you can see how the grommet's not touching the top of the radiator at all. What I did with that one, I bent it down. It was kind of not that good, but I bent it down. Unless you want to sit here and you can make some brackets yourself, but that's extra time. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But I just bent them down, and I spun the grommet around because the grommet on this side has a corner, and I just spun on this side. So that's why the part of the bracket will help put some more pressure on it to keep the radiator steady, secure, straight down. Where the correct word for it is for it. So seeing from there, you can see how how much I had to bend it down versus the far driver's side. So that's one thing that you will have to do that, and then it'll hold it there. Maybe later on, once I have some more time, I'll make some, and then that'll be it. You need to cut off approximately about like an 1.25 inches of the hose, the existing hose. Plan ahead, buy new clamps. I don't have any clamps with me, and I'm not able to go buy some right now, so I had to just like put two together just to get by right now. But buy new clamps for all of these things, I will say that, and buy a couple extras. So you cut off this much of the hose based off the thickness of the radiator. It got bigger, and then this one mounts up fine. Throw this one up here, just throw it back on, and then that's it for up here for the top. And then now go to the bottom and start connecting the lower radiator hose and the trans lines. Before I hop down, I threw the air filter back on. This is kind of an issue, or it is an issue. You're not gonna be able to put that front snorkel looking thing on because it won't fit. It might fit actually. I just didn't really want to mess with it. But based off of this, like this dome side that it's got, it might fit. It might rub on it. But for now, I'm gonna just leave it like that. We'll see what happens with it. Or if not, I'll trim this down. I'll take the snorkel off right here, this hose, and I might have to trim this down right here to put it on. But for now, I'll leave it like that. Yeah, it's probably gonna suck in hot air, but it is what it is for now. And then maybe that'll be a reason why to upgrade the intake. Try to get something better, a little more flow, or just leave it like that for now. But that's one downside. The ease of taking it on and off, which was not very easy before with this, is gonna go away with this bigger cooler. So for the bottom, the lower radiator hose, I didn't have to cut that one down. It fit okay, pretty good. The one that connects to that side, driver's side of the trans cooler, I let it droop down like nothing below this, but I let it hang down a little bit. I could probably always change the angle a little bit higher, but for me that was okay. And for this one, let's see, it's right here. I threw it up to the driver's side of the inline fuel trans filter, and I threw a hose clamp on it. One thing that this kit doesn't come with, or the bag supplied with the fittings, like with those fittings and stuff, with hose clamps. I threw a hose clamp on that one because I couldn't get the slide in all the way. The weather dropped, the temperature dropped a couple degrees, and made the rubber, or more than a couple, made the rubber harder to slide over. So I put that on there for now, just extra security. The one on this side, on passenger side, that one I was able to get to slide it in all the way correctly on the fitting. So that one was okay. And same thing, hose clamp on the other side of the trans cooler where that barb is at. And this is a view of the bottom. Not much to this side. So, the top. I just got the coolant in there right now. So that's how that's looking. And I know somebody's gonna say something that I recorded the video like with the phone vertical, not on its side. I forgot, and I just realized it right now that I was rewatching some of the clips to see what I had covered and not covered. So sorry, but the idea is there of what I kind of did, and I was trying to show you guys. So This probably took me approximately about like 3 hours to do. Not really pacing myself too much, just doing it just doing it. And then, so air blocks, the front part doesn't fit on correctly, or as of right now, it does not. I didn't mess with it. I used, what was it, like 4.5 gallons of coolant. 4.5 gallons of coolant. I don't think most of the coolant probably didn't come out of the block. It probably stayed inside there. So it's just whatever filled up in the radiator. And then the trans, maybe less than a quart came out. So right now, it's a truck. I just went and test drove it. I let it idle for like 15 minutes just to let the air come out, and that's where like the half a gallon went in. So I went and put 2 miles on it, came back, level's still fine. And trans, I'm gonna check that right now, see how that came out. Nothing's leaking so far, everything's good. The temperatures, given that I got lights and everything, whatnot in the front, I was doing about like 190 to 195. It's fluctuating between there, and my oil was at like 10 degrees cooler because I got that secondary oil cooler in the front. So you can do the math right there, 185 roughly. That's what it was at. It'll fluctuate between 6 to 10 degrees cooler, the oil. What else? So we'll see if it will hold up a whole lot better, or if it'll benefit me a whole lot more in towing. That's the main reason why I did it. The intercooler, I don't really notice a big difference. It's there. I did it for preventative measures. Don't have to worry about the plastic ends popping off and then it going out on me on the middle of a trip. It's a new one. The truck had 195,000 miles on it. So, and I think it had the stock one still from when I bought it used. So now it's new. And that's about it. Other than that, I use a pre-diluted coolant, the Ford Gold, if you want to get the concentrated and then dilute it yourself, or whatever other coolant you choose to use. So I spent approximately probably like $900 and change on this upgrade and replacement parts.